Yo, yo, yo. It's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about the effects of semen retention on male psychology. Now, what does a man who is on semen retention, how does his thought process start changing as he evolves with the time when he's on retention? The thing is, his thought process starts becoming a lot more significant, meaning every thought that comes into his mind are more likely going to be more positive and higher vibrational thoughts, meaning he's going to have an attitude of gratitude. He's going to start figuring how to do things instead of quitting without having any knowledge of it. And this really starts becoming very significant in terms of his evolvement, or how he evolves through life. Because a man who's consistently relapsing is more than likely going to be on a negative end of the spectrum. He's going to be on the negative end of the spectrum, meaning he's going to put out excuses. He's going to be mediocre. He's going to be lethargic. He's not going to have an oomph or zest about life. He's just going to be very, very bland and mundane. And if you're bland and mundane, then people aren't going to be as attracted to you. When you're on semen retention, you become more attractive to people in general. Not just women alike, but men and women in general. You just become a lot more appealing to people. And you basically, and once you go on a longer streak, your let's say your lust, quote unquote, it starts to die off. It really just starts to mellow down. A man who's consistently relapsing has high lust per se, but a man who's retaining for a while, the lust kind of just disappears. And then if the lust disappears, then you're gonna need, let's say, more from a woman than her sexual appeal to get you interested. And this is pretty dangerous. This is a pretty dangerous mindset to have when you're on semen retention, because if you're not swiveled by, let's say, a woman's, her sexual appeal, then there's gonna need more from her to get you more attracted. And that's where all the other aspects of, let's say, attraction come into hand. You're gonna have the upper advantage in social situations. You're gonna have high motivation. If let's say you're talking to, let's say, a woman, she's probably gonna start feeling you a lot more certain, a lot more likely when you're on retention, because you're not falling for her, let's say, her sexual appeal. The thing is, like, if you fall for the, like, let's say, the sexual appeal, she knows that she got you, and then she can move on to the next one. Attention for women is very, very addictive. So if you're not feeding her that attention that she so desperately craves, then you may have an upper hand. But the thing is, like, there has to be a balance between doing this. When I say this, because you can't just not show her any attention and think she'll be more attracted to you. There has to be some sort of balance. There has to be a balance. You have to have this thing called the scrambler. where sometimes you're showing her very, very interesting body language, and it really comes down to how you're talking to her and your body language. It comes down to your body language and how you talk to her, and your, just like your charisma. So have very intriguing body language. At times, give her a lot of attention. Make her the center of your world. And then at some other times, be very indifferent about the way you're talking to her. This will start making her head kind of go a little bit crazy. Does he like me? Does he not like me? He was doing this, but now he's not doing this. This is pretty much how you can get a woman to start repetitively thinking about you when you're not there. And this is how attraction occurs when you're not when you're not there with her. So make sure she remembers you. You have to do things that are a little bit flamboyant, a little bit out of the box, a little bit out of the ordinary, so she can remember you. The most important thing is that she remembers you. The more she remembers you, the more you'll occupy her brain matter. And when you actually show up physically, she's going to do everything in her power to keep you if you've done things right. And when you go on semen retention, you're gonna all of this starts coming more naturally to you. No, the reason why a lot of guys, let's say, have questions about attraction, all this thing, is because they're too fed up in other things that are just not very masculine. They're like, it's since you're a guy, it's like it's supposed to be natural for you to be a guy, like very, very like, let's say, masculine behaviors. But the facade of all the other things, like lust and PMO and defending PMO and things like that, that's gonna knock you off your masculine frame. It's gonna make you care too much. And if you care too much, then you're basically letting her call the shots. So the thing is, it's a game of whoever cares the least. Whoever cares the least pretty much wins the game. You want her to care more about you than you care about her, and that's basically how attraction is created. Because women are hypergamous. They date up. They want someone who's, let's say, a little bit more in the know than them, so they can, let's say, learn from them, and they can share emotion and stuff like that. But the thing is, why guys have so much question about masculinity and semen retention, all these things, is like all the things that I'm saying about preaching about semen retention, it's supposed to be the default setting. It's supposed to be the normal thing. It's supposed to be normal. But because of this over sexualized society, they start thinking that doing things like retaining your let's say your nut is frowned upon, because they realize the power that it can actually give you. Like if you're defending PMO, you're basically defending why you're basically giving an excuse as to why you can't get like real women in your life. And that just shows a lot about what your priorities are. It shows really about what your priorities and your values are. So yeah, become the best version of yourself. Become masculine. And just make sure that she starts submitting to you. The way you act is how you'll get her to submit to you. The way you act. If you're too emotional about certain things, and there's nothing wrong with being emotional at all, it's just that I guess there's a time and place to show it or not. But this is just how it goes. So I mean, make sure that you're basically treating her, you're giving her a series of different emotions, because the one who can give her the most emotional, let's say, stimulation is pretty much the one who can get with her. That's why the nice guy thing doesn't work as much, because it's too bland and it's too predictable. Like Drake said, you're too predictable. I hate people like you. So make sure you're switching it up so you are in a very good headspace. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.